welcome to New Leaf's Healthy Cooking Challenge. I'm Chef Jennifer Brewer, and this month's challenge involves eating whole grains. Now, grains are controversial, believe it or not. I mean, for years people avoided eating them when there was that low carb craze, and even now you hear some people saying grains aren't good for you. But actually, grains have a lot going for them when they're eaten in their whole state. And some of the grains that I'm going to show you today aren't even grains at all. They're seeds like quinoa, and they actually have great health benefits just like any other seed does. So we're going to get familiar with the grains, and I'm going to show you some easy ways to add them to your diet. So let's start with my favorite, which is quinoa. Quinoa is actually a seed, it's not a grain, and it's a complete protein, which means it contains all essential amino acids. The really cool thing about quinoa is that it cooks in 15 minutes, and so it's a great substitute for like brown rice, which usually takes a lot longer, and this could become a staple in your diet. There's yellow quinoa, which is really delicious, and you can also get red quinoa, which has a little bit of a nuttier taste, and I find that it cooks up a little bit finer, and I like to use red quinoa when I'm making a cold grain salad, and if I'm eating it warm, I do the yellow. Another great grain is amaranth, and amaranth is a very small grain. As you can see, I mean, look at those little teeny tiny grains. Amaranth cooks up gummy, so it actually makes a very nice breakfast cereal, and I'm gonna have a breakfast cereal recipe on the website for you to try. Amaranth's also a great binder, so it can bind things together very well because of that gummy texture, so you can add it to like burgers and croquettes, and it would actually make it hold together. So this is millet, and actually millet is found primarily in bird seed, but it shouldn't just be for the birds. This is actually a fantastic grain. It has a really nice nutty flavor and cooks up very quickly as well, just like quinoa. So this is a great grain to try. So here we have buckwheat, and this is raw buckwheat. Buckwheat actually isn't related to wheat at all. It's completely its own grade. Buckwheat has very powerful antioxidants in it that make it a really great addition to a healthy diet. And this is raw. You can also get it toasted, and it's sold under the name kasha, and this is another great way to eat buckwheat. This month I'm actually going to have a recipe for a raw buckwheat porridge on the website. So these are wheat berries, and wheat berries are actually what they make wheat out of, hence its name. And wheat berries cook up very much like rice, and you can use them in place of rice, or you can use them in cold salads. One of my favorite ways to eat wheat berries is in like a salad with Kalamata olives and cucumber with a Mediterranean flair. And wheat berries have a lot of benefits when you eat them in this whole state. So now that you're familiar with the grains, let's talk about some easy ways to prepare them. So the first thing is, if you buy your grains in bulk and you keep them in mason jars, which is really my favorite way to do it, you want to rinse your grains before you cook them, just to get off any dirt that might be there. And with quinoa, actually, you always want to rinse it because it has a bitter coating on it, and rinsing it takes care of that. After you've rinsed, you're going to add it to water that you have boiling on the stove. A general rule is 2 parts water to 1 part grain, maybe a pinch of salt, or even broth or stock would add a nice flavor. And then you're just going to simmer that until it's tender. Test your grains just like you would test pasta for doneness. Now, that's if you're using the stove. My favorite way to cook grains is actually using a rice cooker. Now, the great thing about a rice cooker is that it's not going to overflow on your stove and make a mess. You don't have to worry about burning it, and some of them even have a feature where you can cook it early in the day and it'll stay warm for you when you get home. Can you imagine coming home to warm grain and your dinner half made? I mean, how fantastic is that? When you're buying a rice cooker, be sure to buy a stainless steel insert, because a lot of them use aluminum, and you don't really want aluminum in your hot foods. So get a rice cooker if you don't already have one, or borrow one to give it a try for this month, because your challenge is to start eating more whole grains, and to actually try a whole grain that you've never tried before. So maybe millet or amaranth or that buckwheat that you saw. Give one of those a try. We have lots of recipes on the website to help you out, and good luck with this month's challenge. We'll see you next month.